So I think you've made a fairly compelling case for moving into this style of leadership using visual storytelling, thinking, and tools. So, okay, I'm in. Now what do I do? How do I actually make this happen?
There are three things we talk about in visionary leadership, but we talk about this kind of 3 steps you can take, right? And the first step is you have to, as a leader, take ownership of the problem. You have to take a real hard look at your planning and your systems and your processes and the style of communication and leadership, all of that. And you have to really ask the hard questions. Does everybody have access to the things they need, to become these collaborative visual thinkers you're expecting them to be? Have you provided them with the necessary onboarding and training? Are you, painting done around what success looks like for their specific role and how you see them fitting into your future vision? Like, all of this is important. So you have to, step one, take ownership of the problem. It is on you. And if it's not any of that's not happening, you've got to own it and start doing better, right? Bottom line. Second thing we say is break the big thing into smaller things. This can feel overwhelming and it's a lot to do. Okay, we've done our customer experience journey, but now we've got to change these 20 things in the process or in the company. Where do we even start, right? It's like cleaning out a closet. Like, take the things out and sort them and organize them and visually stack them and talk about what you're keeping and what you're tossing. And is it urgent versus important? And you've got to lay those things into a plan, and you start that by putting things into smaller and smaller buckets than you can implement. And then that third, really important, right? It should be the first thing because it's the most important, but it's the last, is ask for help. You cannot do this alone. You've got to let your need for control go, and not let it keep you from greatness. And we talk a lot about the genius zone, which Gay Hendricks talks about in The Big Leap. You've got to operate not from a space of competency or excellence, but your zone of genius, right? Which means you've got to delegate, offload some of these things to other people. And, you've got to ask for help. And that's hard for people. Like we've said, we are not in a culture, especially as men sometimes, and trained for and modeled, in order to ask other people for help. You've got to stop and ask for help. And, those scrum masters, those aren't the only people who can put stickies on a wall. Those, hip looking creative directors, those aren't the only people in your organization who can think creatively. And those innovation teams that you've created aren't the only ones who can test and validate ideas and make the business better. All of this stuff has to be scaled throughout, and it starts by asking for help.
Very thought-provoking. One of the things that, as you're talking, has come into my mind is this idea of being visionary, and how visionary is a visual tool, and how that leads straight towards being able to visualize what it is that you want to achieve, that visual thinking, and then needing to have tools and engagement that seems to all tie it together.